Greetings. The title of this talk is Dealing with Employee Drama. Yep. This is kind of what it looks like. There's all sorts of it, and we're going to talk about some of it and what you might do about it. You most likely remember this program on television called The X-Files with two FBI agents, Fox Mulder and Dana Scully, who were assigned to investigate UFOs and other alien interventions of all sorts. It was really popular for many years. Well, the woman, Dana Scully, was a physician, had no belief at all in UFOs, yet she still did her job. That's an important thing. Regardless of what people bring to the work they do with you, you want them to still do their job. And here we have some definitions of what a bad employee might be. They may not be doing anything illegal or immoral, but they're taking up a large portion of your time. They're always on the edge of discipline and pushing the limits as much as they think they can get away with. They use a lot of sick time, sometimes as soon as it's earned, they use it. They like to stir the pot. They like to antagonize coworkers and make complaints and argue with people all the time. And they're barely making quality and or minimum standards of quantity. So not necessarily bad all the time, but definitely a challenge. So we got 5 types of toxic employees I'm going to describe to you and show you how to deal with each one of those types. First, there's the slacker, who continually finds ways to avoid working as much as possible. He's a drain on everybody's time and energy, especially yours. He doesn't seem to care what others think about him. He's just a slacker. So what do you do with that person? Well, the antidote is to uncover some hidden resentments he's holding or she's holding, to clarify your expectations of him or her, and provide rigorous accountability. Now, all the examples I'm using here, the 5, they're all about showing pictures of men, but of course women can be just as much as the culprit as the males. Let's look at another one. Here's the martyr. This is a person who insists on doing everything himself, does not know his limits, has no clue, complains about everything and anything, undermines confidence of all the other team members, and is prone to burnout. So what do you do about this guy? The antidote is to rigorously enforce delegation and teamwork, to make him or her work with everyone else and not allow them to be doing everything by themselves all the time so they don't burn out. Next, we have the socialite, who treats his job like it's his personal party. Oh boy! Gossip and chat are top priority for this person. He is immature, his behavior is distracting and loud, and he lacks all kinds of focus, no focus whatsoever. This person can ruin the environment really quickly. So the antidote for the socialite is to regularly redirect this person, be very clear about appropriate behavior, what's okay and what's not, and to harness communication skills. Keep them on target. That's all you can do. Yep. Next, we have the hot mess. The hot mess is borderline incompetent. He's constantly appealing to others to help him do what he ought to know how to do by himself by now. Highly disorganized, completely resistant to change. So what do you do with this person, the hot mess? The antidote is extra training with frequent check-ins. Now, as an employer of people who work for you, you have to do a lot of training, constant training, extra training and more training. It's just a fact of life. And next we come to the last of the 5. This is the sociopath. He's a bully. There's no regard for protocol or any sort of normal ways of doing things. He sabotages and manipulates and has all sorts of issues with authority, sometimes severe issues with authority, especially with you, the owner, the operator. So what do you do with the sociopath? The antidote is to enforce strict anti-bullying policies. Probably should have them written down. Trust your instincts with this guy. Document all the negative behaviors he or she is exhibiting, and seriously consider a replacement because it's really difficult to change the behavior permanently of a sociopath. Yes, I know sometimes in some industries it's difficult to find replacements, and yes, in smaller towns versus big cities, there aren't as many people to choose from, but A very toxic sociopath can ruin things for you for a long, long time. So there are the 5 types of toxic employees: the slacker, the martyr, the socialite, the hot mess, and the sociopath. And what you can do with them comes down to these 2 options. Number 1, successfully redirect and get them back on track and make sure they stay there. And number 2, separate just as soon as possible. Now, what about feuding employees, people who they don't have an issue with you necessarily, but they don't get along with one another? What can you do about this situation? Well, first of all, you want to meet separately with each party. You don't want them in the same room at the same time. Whether it's 1, 2, or 3 of them, 4 of them, whatever it is, you separate them, meet with them separately, ask each one individually, separately, to spell out the behavior of the other that they dislike so much. That's how you start. And get each person to specifically describe the behavior they find objectionable and to give examples. That's really important. That's why I repeat it again and again. A lot of people, when they try to stop fights, don't do this. They need to do this. Now, as you listen to them talk, your role is to be non-judgmental and to validate the emotions each party in the conflict is expressing, so they know you're not playing any favorites. And then you want to bring the parties together, whether it's 2 of them, 3 of them, 4 of them, whatever. Get them in the same room at the same time. And ask them to come up with an acceptable solution to the conflict themselves. This can be a very interesting conversation. And if after a while they're unable to do this, not happening, then you must recommend a solution to them. Yep. And you must get them to agree to abide by either the solution they develop or by the one you develop for them. Say that even though they may never be close friends, they must find a way to work together as a professional team, or they can't stay with you. As you speak with them, avoid inserting unnecessary qualifying phrases such as kind of, like, and maybe, as these terms can inadvertently soften or dilute your message, thereby undercutting your authority. You want to be crystal clear with people who are not getting along and fighting and arguing all the time. Address workplace frustrations you believe may be causing one employee to blame the other or whatever, like harsh deadlines and unclear roles and expectations and other sort of chaotic environmental issues. Document all conversations with employees who are having major difficulties, especially if it's an ongoing issue or 2. Be specific with the details of the incidents that they describe or you observe, and note the dates and times and describe the unacceptable behavior. Write it down. Document it. Now, if your mediation proves ineffective, issue a written warning documenting the unacceptable behaviors on the part of one or both parties. Let them know the consequences. The consequences of continuing to behave unprofessionally. Get them to sign a warning indicating they received it and place the warning in their personnel file. Document, detail, be specific. Same 2 options. You 1, either successfully redirect their behavior, or 2, you separate one or both of them as soon as possible and find somebody else. Look at this. Leaders want their people to do better than they did. Bosses always want to be the boss. Be a leader. Be a leader. And finally, good employees quit when leadership is bad. Bad employees quit when leadership is good. So be a leader. It's really important. That's the last piece here. Review this as often as you want, and I'm always around to talk to my phone or in person if you want to go over any of the details with me. But that's it for now. Over and out.